My brother drained my entire life savings to pay off gambling debt, and when I told my parents, they defended him. I cut them all off until Thanksgiving, when I finally told the truth in front of everyone. What happened next shocked my whole family. You ever feel your whole world implode in the span of a single notification? That was me, standing in line at the pharmacy, holding a bottle of ibuprofen when my banking app pinged. I glanced at the screen, expecting maybe a paycheck deposit or some tiny credit card charge. Instead, it said, "Withdrawal $14,000. I froze. I thought it was a glitch, maybe fraud. But then I checked again. 4 more transactions. In just 2 days, over $80,000 gone. My entire life savings. Years of working overtime, skipping vacations, hustling freelance gigs on weekends. I was saving for a down payment. That money wasn't just cash. It was my future. I felt my knees give a little, right there in the cold light of CVS. I rushed home, heart pounding, and sat down at my laptop, dug into every statement, called the bank, and the pieces started falling into place. Horribly, painfully. Every charge traced back to my linked accounts, to someone who had access. And then it hit me like a freight train. Kyle, my older brother, my charming, impulsive, just a little unlucky, golden boy of the family. I had let him borrow my credit card a week earlier, just to order some damn Uber Eats because he said his was acting up. I'd been tired, distracted. I handed it over, told him, just the burger and fries, nothing else. But Kyle, he didn't just take a bite. He devoured the whole damn pantry. Accessed my savings account, don't ask me how, probably through the autosave password I stupidly had on my browser, and started draining it fast. To pay off gambling debts. Do you know what it feels like to be violated by someone who used to hold your hand crossing the street? I texted him that night. You stole from me. 80,000 fucking dollars. I hope you rot in hell. I didn't cry. I just sat on the floor of my apartment, numb, staring at the walls. My lease was up in 3 months. I'd been this close to making an offer on a small fixer-upper outside the city. My little dream. Now I couldn't even afford a moving truck. And then, the kicker, the next morning, there's a knock at my door. I opened it, and there they were. My parents, my mom with tears in her eyes, my dad holding a Tupperware of lasagna, like this was some goddamn social call. We need to talk, my mom said. I thought, great, they're here to tell me they've disowned him, that they'd help press charges, maybe even offer to lend me some money to keep me afloat. But instead, they sat on my couch, took my own water glasses from the cabinet, and said, family is more important than money. I laughed. It was this short, bitter little sound that didn't feel like it came from my own throat. Excuse me, I said. He stole from me. 80 grand. And you're sitting here quoting Hallmark cards? He was desperate, my mom said. He didn't mean to hurt you. He ruined my life, I screamed. My chest was tight, my throat raw. And you're still making excuses for him? He's always been your golden boy, hasn't he? He could set this whole building on fire, and you'd probably bring marshmallows. My dad's face tightened. Don't speak to your mother that way. I pointed at the door. Get out! They didn't argue. My mom started crying again, this time with more noise. My dad muttered something about me being cold-hearted, and then they left. I didn't chase them. I didn't apologize. Because for the first time in years, I realized something. I was alone. Kyle had taken my savings, my parents had taken his side, and all I had left was a lease renewal form and a gaping hole in my gut where trust used to live. I called the bank again, just to see if anything could be reversed. But since Kyle had accessed the account using my credentials, not fraud, no protections. I called a lawyer friend. He said I could press charges, but it would get messy. Family always is. And I'd never see that money again anyway. I asked him, so what am I supposed to do? He paused, then said, you start over. And you never hand that man a single cent or second chance again. I didn't answer, but I knew deep down that starting over would be the only way to survive this. So I renewed the lease, packed up the house brochures, got a job delivering groceries at night to make extra cash, and I blocked my brother on everything. But you know the worst part, Frankie? Every time I opened the fridge and saw nothing but eggs and ketchup, every time I heard a car door outside and thought maybe they came to apologize, every time I looked in the mirror and saw the dark circles under my eyes from crying at 3 a.m., I still miss them. Not the version of them that stood in my living room defending Kyle, but the version that used to call me baby girl and kiss my scraped knees. Turns out grieving the living is way worse than burying the dead. And yet somehow, that wasn't even the end of it. It had been about 6 months. 6 months of double shifts, microwaved ramen, and avoiding family birthdays like they were landmines. My parents tried calling a few times, left voicemails full of guilt-dipped pleasantries, but the worst came in the form of a letter, a physical letter, from my mom. She wrote about how Kyle was really trying now, how he'd started seeing a counselor, how he missed me, how she found an old photo of us in a treehouse we'd built as kids and cried for 20 minutes, how family bonds shouldn't be cut over money, and the final blow. Don't you remember when Kyle held you after the spaghetti tantrum? Spaghetti tantrum. I must have been what, 2? I'd apparently flipped out when Mom served it, flung sauce everywhere, pulled it through my hair like war paint. According to family lore, Kyle was the only one who could calm me down. He'd carried me to the tub, washed my tomato-slicked curls, and sang some off-key lullaby to stop my crying. I used to love that story, so I stared at the letter for a long time. I wish I could say I tore it up, that I stayed strong, but grief has this way of slipping past anger, doesn't it? I messaged him. 1 coffee, that's it. He replied within minutes. I'll be there in 20. I love you. We met at a diner near the park. He looked different, gaunt, jittery, eyes darting around like he was expecting someone to throw a punch. He cried when he saw me, said he was sorry, that he couldn't believe what he did. He told me I was drowning, Lena. I thought I could fix it before you noticed. I was gonna win it back. I didn't say much, just let him talk. But I made my boundaries clear. No money, no borrowing, no trust until you earn it. And for a while, it worked. We started doing little things, grabbing dinner, hiking trails we used to visit as kids. He was careful, polite, overly grateful. He'd text me memes. He'd send photos of the old treehouse saying, still holding strong. It started to feel like maybe this could be the start of something new, something healed. But healing is a fragile thing, and paranoia is always lurking nearby. About 2 months into our reconnection, I noticed my credit card wasn't where I normally kept it in my wallet. Now I'm pretty meticulous. I don't lose things. I found it tucked into the coin pouch of my bag instead of the card slot. Weird, but maybe I just rushed and slipped it in wrong. Then came the first nudge. Transaction alert, $200, Golden Flush Casino. My stomach dropped so hard I felt like I was on an elevator to hell. At first I thought it was a scam. Maybe someone had skimmed my card. But then, another charge, and another. By the time I hit my bank's fraud line, it was already over $1,200, all at casinos. I didn't need to guess. There was only one person in my life who'd gamble with my future and call it love. I called Kyle. No answer. I texted, Kyle, if this is you, I swear to God. No reply. I drove to his apartment. He wasn't there. I waited outside for 2 hours until I saw him get dropped off by an Uber reeking of cigarettes, red-eyed and twitchy. Hey, he said like I was just stopping by for brunch. I didn't even wait. Did you take my card? He blinked. What? You heard me. You used it at a casino. Again. He looked stunned, then tried to laugh it off. No, Lena. Listen, it's not what you think. Don't you dare lie to me. He flinched, and for a second I saw the truth crack through. Okay, yes, I did, he whispered. But it wasn't like last time. I wasn't using it for me. I stared at him. What does that even mean? I was trying to win your money back. I swear, Frankie, my mouth just hung open, like he'd confessed to robbing a bank to return the cash. That was his genius plan. Double down on theft to cancel out the last one. You think I'm supposed to be grateful? I shouted. You stole from me. Again. He started crying. Real ugly sobbing. And I didn't even feel sad. Just cold. Hollow. Like someone had scooped the humanity out of me. I left. I didn't go home. I drove straight to our parents' house. They pulled in about 20 minutes later. I was sitting on the porch like a ghost. What happened? My dad asked. I told them everything. The charges, the card, the lie, the fake repentance. I laid it out like a lawyer. And they just stood there. My mom's eyes welled up. My dad clenched his jaw, but not one of them said what I needed. "We'll help you press charges." Instead, my mom whispered, "He was trying to make it right." I walked right past them, got in my car, and this time, I blocked all three of them. I didn't just cut ties. I burned the rope and threw the ashes in the damn river. But consequences still had to be paid. A week later, I got a letter from the bank. My credit score had dropped over 90 points because the card was in my name, because the charges looked authorized. The loan I'd been pre-approved for, gone. All those months of rebuilding, useless. I picked up a second job at a hardware store, started driving delivery again on weekends. No time for Netflix, no time for hope. Just work, grind, sleep, repeat. I told myself I'd be okay, but deep down, Frankie, I was furious. Not just at them, at myself, because I let him in. I handed the knife back to the man who'd stabbed me and said, "Please don't do it again." And he did, and I got that final bank notice. Sat in bed, staring at the ceiling fan, spinning slow like a hypnotist's pocket watch. My fingers gripped the sheets so tight they went numb. My stomach twisted every time I pictured Kyle's face, acting like he'd done me a favor, trying to win it back. That line played on a loop in my head like a sick joke. The next morning, I woke up with one goal. I was going to confront him face to face. No tears, no shouting, just the truth, cold and clear. So I drove to my parents' house. I knew he'd be there. That was always his hideout when the world told him no. They were out, probably running errands or buying him his favorite cereal. I let myself in with the old key I never returned. Sat in the living room, dead center on the couch, facing the door like a damn ghost waiting to haunt someone. The sun had already started setting when I heard the door open. Kyle strolled in whistling. He froze when he saw me. "Lena, what are you doing here?" I didn't stand up. "You maxed out my card," I said. His mouth opened, but I kept going. "You buried me in another $8,000 of debt." $8,000? He ran a hand through his hair. Okay, listen." "No, you listen," I snapped, my voice sharp as glass. "I'm done. You're going to pay me back, every cent, or I press charges." He stared at me like I'd just spoken another language. "You're kidding." "I'm not. You don't get to keep stealing from me and calling it love. That's not how love works." He stepped closer, eyes wide. I swear I was trying to fix things. I figured if I could just win big one time. I shot to my feet. "You think I care what your intentions were? You think I want a brother who gambles with my life?" I could see the shift in his eyes, that flicker. The same one I'd seen when we were kids and he realized he couldn't talk his way out of something. The moment the golden boy act cracked. "Are you really going to throw me to the cops?" he said, quieter now. "If I have to," I said. "You made your choices. I'm making mine." And then he smiled, that cold, condescending little smirk. "You're not going to do it," he said. "You say you are, but you won't. You never could handle being alone." That broke something in me. I shoved past him, didn't say a word, and left. That night, I sat on my bed staring at the phone for hours, thumb hovering over the number to the police station. But I didn't call. Not because I was scared for him, but because I knew what would happen if I did. I'd lose my parents forever, and some sick part of me still wanted them to want me. But that was the night I decided something else. I wasn't going to be their victim anymore. I called the bank, reported the fraud, filed paperwork, got the ball rolling. Then I cut my parents off, changed my number. I didn't even tell them where I lived anymore. Weeks passed. The fallout started slow, then hit all at once. The loan I needed to refinance my student debt? Denied. I got calls from creditors, warning letters, emails with giant red urgent headers. All because Kyle, once again, played blackjack with my identity. And anger, Frankie, it's one hell of a fuel. I picked up extra hours at both jobs, stopped eating out completely, sold some furniture, paused my gym membership, canceled streaming services. Every dime went toward debt. I didn't go out, didn't date. My apartment turned into a war bunker. My phone was silent, just me and the grind. Some nights I collapsed on the couch and cried until I fell asleep. Other nights I stared at my ceiling fan again, planning how to dig my way out inch by inch. Because I had one goal: to rebuild without a single brick from them. And the wild thing? In the silence, I started to heal. Not completely. I still had trust issues the size of Texas. But I stopped waiting for apologies, stopped hoping my parents would wake up one day and realize they'd raised a wolf in golden fur. I accepted it, I let it burn. And from those ashes came the beginnings of someone new, someone who had every right to be angry and wasn't going to hide it anymore. But then came Thanksgiving. The invite showed up in my inbox from my mom's new email. Subject line, please come home. The message, short and sweet. It'll be just like old times. I'll cook your favorite. Kyle misses you. We miss you. Love, Mom. And Frankie, I should have deleted it. I should have blocked it like all the others. But something inside me said, go. Not for them, for you. Because maybe, just maybe, I needed to stand in that house one last time and burn the whole damn illusion down. I almost turned the car around 3 times on the way there. Pulled over once, sat with the engine running, just staring at a Waffle House sign glowing in the distance, thinking, what the hell am I doing? But something deeper, maybe pride, maybe closure, kept my hands on the wheel. And so, there I was. Thanksgiving Day. Parking outside the house I grew up in, the same house where I'd played tag in the yard and scraped my knees on the sidewalk. The same house where I'd realized, slowly, painfully, that being family didn't mean being safe. The moment I stepped inside, it hit me. The warmth of the oven, the scent of rosemary, the laughter floating in from the living room. And then I saw Kyle, sitting at the head of the table, laughing like he hadn't shattered my future and called it an accident. Like he hadn't stolen from me twice and left me clawing my way back from nothing. I felt heat rise to my face, that same red flush I used to get when our parents would scold me for overreacting. My mom spotted me from the kitchen and lit up. There she is, she beamed, wiping her hands on a towel like we were in a Hallmark movie. Just in time. Come say hi to everyone. I nodded, walked into the dining room like I was walking into battle. Cousins I hadn't seen in years, uncles and aunts, a few new spouses I didn't recognize, and Kyle, arms spread wide like I was a long-lost sibling returning from war. Lena, he said, standing like nothing had ever happened. Come here. I didn't move. Instead, I turned to my mom. Don't set my plate, I said, my voice steady, cold. I'm not staying long. The room fell quiet. Forks paused midair. Someone's toddler dropped a toy that clattered on the hardwood. My dad raised an eyebrow. Lena. No, I said. You all wanted me here, so I came, but I'm not going to smile and pretend. My breath caught, but I pushed forward. Kyle, I said, turning toward him. You didn't just steal my money. You stole my life. You took everything I built and gambled it away like it meant nothing. He opened his mouth, but I cut him off. And you, I looked at my parents. You let him. You excused it. You told me family is more important than money when I was standing in the wreckage of my future. Lena, that's not fair, my mom whispered. We were trying to keep us together. No, I said louder. You were trying to keep him comfortable, and you left me to rot, alone, broke, humiliated. Kyle tried to laugh it off. Come on, don't do this here. Why not? I snapped. You did everything else in front of people. Why should my truth be the only thing whispered? He stood now, trying to play the victim. I was trying to fix things, Lena. I didn't mean to hurt you. I tilted my head. Intentions don't fix credit scores, Kyle. They don't put a roof over my head, or get me the loan I lost, or make up for a year of living like a ghost while you laughed at Thanksgiving. Dead silence. Then from across the table, I heard someone clear their throat. It was my cousin Rachel. She looked at me, eyes wide. I didn't know, she said softly. Then Uncle Dave chimed in. Wait, he took how much? Kyle muttered something, but it was too late. My truth was out. I grabbed my coat. I don't need anyone to choose sides, I said. I just wanted you to know the side I'm on. Mine. Then I left, got in my car, thought I'd cry, thought I'd regret it, but I didn't. Not even a little. Over the next few days, something happened I didn't expect. Texts, calls, support. Rachel sent me a Starbucks gift card and said, I wish I'd spoken up sooner. Aunt Marie offered to connect me with her financial planner. Even my dad's old friend Paul, a guy I barely remembered from childhood barbecues, Venmo'd me $500 with a note that just said, for a fresh start. Don't let them pull you back down. I didn't ask for help, but somehow people gave it. Because truth, when spoken loud enough, doesn't echo back empty. It gets heard. So here I am now, Frankie, in your cab, telling you this whole messy, bleeding story. Not because I want pity, but because I want it known. I survived. I still clip coupons and eat too many ramen noodles. But I'm not broken anymore. If you made it this far, thanks for riding with me. If you love real, messy, emotional stories like this, go ahead and hit subscribe. There's always another confession waiting in the backseat.